Okay, we are going to start filling you in on everything that's going on today. So we've been kind of dropping hints all week, and then we've shared some shorts and some live streams and some different things throughout the day. So just to give you an update, and these roads are so bumpy, so I'm trying to hold the camera as steady as I can. But so to fill you guys in on everything, we did purchase a property. It was not one of the 5 properties that we showed you yesterday. I actually made that video a couple of weeks ago and had it scheduled out. And then once we realized that it was coming up close to our closing date, which we knew for the past month was February 7th, I realized I want to share our homestead journey before we do the reveal of the property that we actually got. So I do want to come back later and tell you guys more about those properties and why we didn't go with them. Some of them we actually looked at 2 or 3 years ago. So like the one, I think it was property number 2 that I showed. That was the Inola one. That had the, it was the really modern looking one that I didn't have any pictures of the inside. And I said that that was the one that was going to be the furthest drive for Art. It would have been like a 45-minute drive for you, right? And a 30-minute drive for me. When that was the most expensive property out of all of them. But when we looked at that 2 or 3 years ago, I was still working full-time outside of the house. So back then we could have afforded it more than we could have now. But it wound up selling for way more than what we would have wanted to pay anyway. So, and I didn't say this, but it was like a 5-bedroom house too, and we certainly didn't need that many bedrooms. So also remember at the time that we looked at it, I was trying to convince Artie and Taylor to move with us because they had not bought their house yet. So I kept telling Art, look, we could all go in on this house together. But it would have been a far drive for them too. They wouldn't have wanted to live that far away. So anyway, number 5, property number 5, that was the one that most people thought. But actually, let me back up. Property number 4, the Pecan Grove, that we loved that property. We actually were looking at that one around Christmas time of last year. So that was Christmas of 23, right? Mm-hmm. And we were trying to wait it out. We wanted to buy it, but we were trying to wait until Christmas was over. And we were going to try to put an offer in January or something, January of 24. The one bad thing about that place, though, was that it was in a flood zone, like a really bad flood zone. And so we were kind of doing a lot of checking and everything. We got 6 people watching. Hi, guys. Anyway, so that was why by the time we were ready to really start looking into it after the holidays were over with and everything, it was already sold. So so that's why that one went bye-bye. Number 5, though, we really loved that house until we got inside of it.
Which one was number 5?
It was the cabin looking one out in Fort Gibson.
Yes.
It was that thing needed to be torn down to the studs. Like it was covered in mold, and it was in really bad shape. The outside was beautiful. It was only on 3 acres though, so it wasn't as much land as we would have liked or anything. It was really nice and private though. There were no neighbors anywhere around.
But you would have crossed that bridge twice a day, which you would not done that.
Yeah, I was going to say that too. It goes over a big lake, and I have a very bad fear of driving over water. I think if past lives exist, I must have drowned by driving off a bridge or something, because I have been fearful of driving over water since I was a young child. I used to cower in the floorboard of my parents' vehicle and just bawl my eyes out anytime we had to drive over water. And even now as an adult, I hold my breath driving over any bridges. So it freaks me out. So
there are no bridges where we're going.
I know, thank goodness. So anyway, so that, just to give you guys kind of an update on all of that. Also, that cabin one, number 5, not only that, they were asking way too much for that property, and I think they've even I think it's still for sale, and we looked at it like 6 months ago or something.
Yeah,
it's been a little while. They've dropped the price a couple more times,
but it's been up for sale for what, a year or two?
Yeah, it's been for sale for a long time, and I think because our realtor told us something about I think the owner is now in a nursing home or something, and I think the property went to their children, and I think unless I'm thinking of one of the other properties, I can't remember now.
Being a little bit of a tiff or something between the kids.
No, I was thinking that it was something like the kids lived out of state and didn't even know what condition that property was in, but it was in bad shape. So that was why we just thought they weren't coming down on the price, because they didn't realize what bad shape it was in. So anyway, so we are driving out to our new home, and what we haven't told you guys yet, though, is that this house is gutted. So there's actually two homes on it, kind of.
It's the perfect homestead.
It's a perfect homestead. It's the perfect homestead for us, because it was one we could afford.
It's gonna work.
Yeah, but what was I going to say? That we have a lot of work to do. We're probably not. Well, Art is going to be staying there, but it probably won't even be like move-in ready for probably a year. Like, we're going to be redoing everything, because it's we mentioned this on one of the live streams, but it is it was a DIY project. The main house was built in 2018, but it sure doesn't look like it, and we'll show you. Well, they didn't seal the outside or anything properly, so it looks like, when we first saw the listing, we honestly thought I thought the house was from like the Civil War. Like, I really thought that it looked that dated, and until we found out later that house was just built in 2018, and I was like, what? But it's because they DIY'd the whole thing, and they didn't seal the outside, so it aged really bad.
Quick.
And
it aged quick.
Yeah,
because they didn't seal it.
Yes. So we're gonna be like building out the kitchen, the bedroom, the living room, the laundry room, the bathrooms, all that stuff. And then the second house, it has a second house there, which was the original house to the property long time ago. But it has been taken down to the dirt floor, and it does have a little room and a bathroom in the back. It has a plumbing for a bathroom, and it has a toilet in it, but it's not like a real bathroom. It has to be done. But we're going to redo all of that. And
actual refurbished materials. That place, older house,
actually
DIY, and it was actual materials that are new.
Yeah, like completely
DIY. Refurbished, if you will, in the sense. Material.
And just reused, reclaimed.
Reclaimed.
Yeah, there's the words, reclaimed material. Oh, see this black fence here? Art was just talking about that earlier, about not that exact kind, but just doing the fence around the property and like black. We'd like to do some black. Oh, I'll post later. There's a mailbox that I saw on Facebook Marketplace that I showed Art, and I said, I'd like to do our mailbox like this. So it's pretty cool. So I'll share that later. But when we get out we're heading back to the property now. We did have to run to the store and get some cleaning supplies and stuff. So we're getting ready to head back to the property. And what else was I going to say? I forgot.
You can't pause that, can you? You can't pause that, can you?
No. But when we get out there, we are going to show you guys like the inside and everything. So one thing you may have noticed, I had mentioned in one of the houses, I had talked about how we didn't really want a 2-story, but I was glad that in that house, the master at least was downstairs. Well, that's not the case with this one. The only bedroom in this house is upstairs. So, and now that I've said that, then I can tell you that there's nowhere for Elijah in this house, which is fine, because Elijah said I wasn't planning on moving with you guys anyway. So But like I said, it's going to take us a year to get this ready. So I'm still going to be, me and Elijah will still be living in my house in Owasso. And so, but, you know, I'll be coming out here on the weekends and stuff to help, but, you know, work on the property. This spring, we'll be getting some of the garden established, and I'll still garden at my other house too, because we still have renovations to finish at that house so that we can put it on the market. So we're going to be doing a lot of DIY projects at both places.
A lot of neat things to see from, you know, different repair jobs that you'll be able to look and see what we're doing. What was I going to say about that property?
About my house or the new one?
The new one, but it'll come back to me.
Oh, Art's going to build a pond. He's going to get started on that pretty soon. And, our big announcement is we'll be setting a wedding date soon. So here's what we want to hear from you guys. So I think we had always, well, I won't go into all the details about why, but we had narrowed down the best month for us to get married is either January or April. Well, January has already passed for this year. So April would be a good month, I'm thinking. So
I got to start working on that pond now, tonight, tomorrow. It's going to take a minute. I'm ready.
But we both want to pick a wedding date that corresponds with a Bible verse. So we want our wedding date to line up with Scripture, right? So like one of my favorite verses is Romans 8:28, which is, in all things God works for the good of those who love him. You know that one. So 8/28, you know, August 28th, but we don't want to wait until August. So, so we need to find a verse that is a good one that speaks to us, but that is in the fourth chapter of one of the books, right? So now I need to go back through the Bible again. I've already done this in the first chapter of every book when I was looking at January dates, but that's come and gone twice now, because I did this back in 23 and then in 24 and now in 25. Oh, 3 times. We've had 3 Januaries pass by now. Anyway, so I need to look back through all of the books of the Bible in the 4th chapter to look for verses that maybe I've already highlighted that would make a good day. Oh yeah. Oh guys, okay, check this out. Okay, see this property here? We keep forgetting. We looked at this one about a year ago, right? Okay.
Yes.
You can see what they see. I can't. Is it showing everything?
Well, the house is actually, it was a 3-bedroom.
The house was tiny.
It's a very small house. It's on 3 acres. The shop that you're about to see is actually larger
than the
actual house itself. Now, these people from Colorado and everywhere. Wow, there's a lot of cars here for such a small space.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Okay, so we were when we left our house just a little bit ago, we drove past that again and we were like, oh yeah, remember? We really lucked out because that house, back when we looked at it a year ago, it, like he just said, actually the square footage of that house is about the same square footage of the house that we got. But
really?
It's maybe 100 square feet smaller, but they're about the same size. But anyway, that's on 3 acres and it has a shop. Well, that second house is what we're going to turn into a shop, and ours is on 10 acres. That house sold for double the price of what we just paid for our property.
With 10 acres.
Yeah, with 10 acres. That one's on 3. So as we drove past it earlier, we were like, oh man, aren't you so glad? Like we really, we did good.
And that was a real consideration, that house.
Yeah.
But that's where sometimes you don't always pick the house picks you.
Yeah.
So in this case, it turned out that way.
Yeah. Yep. So we are now back on our dirt road heading out there. So
there is 3 miles of dirt road to get to this property.
Yes.
So we are definitely in the country.
Yeah, it's a beautiful dirt road though. Like, here's our neighbor cows over here.
Our neighbor cows. Don't name your farm animals. Whatever you do.
I love this drive though. I think it's so pretty. My first time driving out here, the very first time that we met our realtor out here, I was like driving down this road right here thinking, oh my gosh, Art is going to love this. And I didn't realize it, but he was already out there. And I called him to tell him, oh my gosh, you're going to love this. And he was like, baby, this is like really backwoods. I was like, I know, I love it. He was like, you do? He didn't.
I was totally surprised. I didn't think she would be for this at all.
He didn't think that I would like it, but I knew how much he would love it. And so I was just ecstatic because I knew this was exactly what he was looking for. And that's what I wanted too. And just the land and everything that we can do with our family is just going to be so amazing. So,
well, my dad would used to say is buy land or buy dirt, because that's the one thing they're not making any more of.
yeah.
So this is an opportunity we're jumping on, and we're very, very happy.
Yes.
So we'll
Yep.
see it in about 2 minutes, hopefully.
Yeah. So you guys are probably, Art said when we brought my parents out here, he said, your parents are going to think we have lost our minds. And so, what was it that my mom said? I sent my mom the listing the very first day that I saw it.
Are you kidding?
And I said, what do you think of this? And she replied back and she said, are you being serious? There's no bathroom or something like that.
Right.
And I was like, well, I know, we'd have to build it. But then when they came and they saw it, they understood the dream. And so they were really excited for us too. So, so right at this moment, we have my dad designing the laundry room and bathroom situation for us. We're counting on him with his design skills and architectural skills, he's going to draw us up a floor plan so we can figure out how we're going to make those work. But we're almost there, so when we get in there, we will jump back on here and show you guys around. I can't wait to show you. Let us know what you think.
So now it stops.